Hello everyone, this is Priyasha from XAT and here we are with another study session, and this time we'll be having a revision session for quants, and one topic which you all wanted me to take up first was trigonometry. So I'll be preparing a small set, okay? I will be helping you out with the basics. Now the main purpose of this video is, or the best way you can utilize this video is that you watch this small video, have an idea about what are the level 1 questions of trigonometry, knowing which or the knowing the approach only will help you in reducing the time taken to work on these kind of questions, and also target the questions coming in XAT and any other OMET. Okay, so let's get started. These are my notes only, so I've already noted them down. So let's get started. I'm going to prepare you all together for level 1 only. That is the type of questions which will clear your basics completely. After watching this video, I can assure you that when you go and try out the examples, you would feel very comfortable moving in. And if you feel that you are good to go in the next 1 hour, you can complete doing some examples and level 1 questions comfortably, let's say 2013 number, and you still have time in hand like another 1 hour or something, you can definitely drop in the level 2 part as well. Level 2 in the sense means kind of trigonometry identities like sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1, but वो सब कुछ समझने से पहले it's more essential and important for you to understand the basics of trigonometry. So let's get started with the first point. So generally when we talk about a right angle triangle, we come across three very important terms. We say if this is the 90-degree for us, we primarily go for saying that this one will be my base, this one will be my height, and this one will be my hypotenuse. But when it comes to trigonometry, we don't call it base and height any longer. We actually call them the adjacent side, okay, and the opposite side. The reason being that is that when you are taking a theta is the more appropriate word to use here. So when you are using theta, आप जिस भी angle में theta ले रहे हो, you have to make sure that the angle or the side which is lying right touching it, okay, right below it, would go in such a way that it will take it to be called as the adjacent side. Similarly, if you check it out for the opposite side, this side, if I take the green one as theta, then this one will be my opposite side and this one will be my adjacent side. Similarly, if I take the pink theta as my original theta in the question, then the line joining the pink theta will be my adjacent and the opposite one will be this one. So based on this, for every context or question, the theta's value and the sides would change subsequently. So based on that, have a quick look over here that the base in our case will be the adjacent now and the height for our case will be the opposite now. Now look at the example which I have given on this in end, okay. That is the three major identities of the trigonometry ratios you need to remember is sin theta, cos theta and tan theta. So sin theta goes by the formula that you have to take the opposite end and divide it by the hypotenuse. Remember, the hypotenuse is the same, the side which is always connected to the theta. Now when we get down and move over here, we realize that we have to divide the opposite end with the theta, opposite end of theta with the hypotenuse of the theta. That means if we take this triangle over here, I will get AB, that is my opposite because theta is right here, divided by the hypo, which is AC. Similarly, cos theta will be adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse, and this is what something you will find in the books as well easily. Similarly, tan theta will be your opposite divided by adjacent. Now, the why I'm only stressing on these three things is primarily because the other things are exact opposite or reciprocal of it. For example, if I can say that sine's opposite is cosec, so cosec will be the exact opposite, which is hypo by opposite, and then cos opposite is sec, so it will be hypo by adjacent, and tan's opposite is cot, so it will be adjacent by opposite. So this is the way how you can remember these 6 things easily. Now one thing which I primarily want to bring into picture right now is the Pythagorean triples. Now you must have known the Pythagoras theorem, which says that the hypotenuse square is equals to the sum of the height square and the base square. Well, this formula need not be used every time you do the calculations, because if you remember a couple of triples which are very commonly used like 3, 4, 5 and many more like that, I will be adding the image of the very common Pythagorean triples on my Instagram page, so definitely go and check it out there. remember it so that whenever in the question you come across a triangle which has 6, 8, and then they ask you the next one, you don't have to really solve it. Like take an example of this one over here. Okay, suppose this one is not given as 15 and it's only 9 and 12. The moment you see 9 and 12, you realize that these two are actually the multiples of 4 and 3. So if I multiply 3 into 3 and 4 into 3, I'm actually getting 12 and 9 respectively. So therefore the other side will also be the 5's third multiple, which is 15. So this is a very fast and an easy way to remember and do the questions. आपको literally 12 square plus 9 square करके add करके again square root निकालने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you remember these very common Pythagoras triples, okay, this happens with practice. And since we are doing a revision session, I don't expect you to have a lot of time. So therefore, if you just go about and remember these triples, this will be really beneficial. Now, going down to another concept. For example, in a question, they only give you the tan theta value. So from this tan theta value, you will be able to find out all the other expressions or ratios easily. Why? Because if I know that something is tan theta, so it would definitely be the value of the opposite divided by the value of the adjacent. So for my triangle, this one will be my opposite and this one will be my adjacent. And जैसे हमें दो sides मिलते हैं, हम पाइथागोरस थ्योरम की help से the third side easily calculate कर सकते हैं. So if I calculate the third side, suppose they ask me the cosec theta value, then I know that cosec theta is actually the opposite of 1 by sin theta. Cosec theta is actually the opposite of 1 by sin theta, and sin theta is equals to opposite by hypo. So since it is opposite by hypo, what will happen? What will happen if it is opposite by hypo? We will just take the values as 15 upon 12. आप इसको reduce भी कर सकते हो. You can avoid reducing it as well. But then what is more essential is that you will be focusing more and more on understanding कि कैसे third side निकालते ही you can get the values easily. वैसे ही हम आते हैं next function में, which is even and odd function. Not very important, but then knowledge of it will help you in calculation part. जैसे कि odd functions are those functions जिसमें अगर आप angle को negative कर दो तो पूरी value ही negative हो जाती है. For example, if I take sin 60 degrees value, then minus sin 60 degree would be a different entity altogether. मतलब कि अगर आप angle को theta को 60 degree से minus 60 degree में change कर दो तो your answer will change back to a negative of the same value which you used to get in sin 60 degree. ठीक है, but this is applicable only for sin and its opposite, tan and its opposite, but not applicable to cos and sec, क्योंकि cos and sec जो है वो even functions होते हैं. Even functions का काम ये है कि cos minus 60 degree की value cos 60 degree के value के बराबर है, and same happens with the opposite of cos as well, that is sec. Now the best thing of this video is going to take place, okay? So please have a look on this screen. Well, the screenshot you see on my screen is a table prepared by me, and not prepared by me, this table is drawn by me. But then yeah, this is one table which will help you to remember the primary values for the different angles like 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree. But इसको याद रखना इतना मुश्किल भी नहीं है. The reason being that is a small trick you see on your screen right now. You have to take your hand like this and take your little finger at 0 degree and your thumb at 90 degree. तो आप अपने fingers को ऐसे assume करो that आपके little finger पे 0 degree है, and once you move up every 50, every time you move up you're going like 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and lastly to 90 degrees. है ना? Once you do it like this, the formula on your screen will help you to get the value of any particular major angle. Let's say if someone asks you the value of sin 60 degree and you don't remember the value, then use this theorem. What you have to do is you have to check how many fingers are below 60 degree. अब जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला था 60 degree will actually be your index finger. Okay, so if 60 degree is your index finger, how many fingers do you have below that? So index fingers के नीचे हमारे पास 3 fingers hai. So therefore under root of 3 divided by 2 will be the value which is the actual value also. Similarly, if you are asked about the cos value, you have to just do the ulta, that is the number of fingers above it. For 60 degree itself, you have only one value, and that one value is equals to what? That one value is equals to nothing, that is 1 by 2 itself, or 1 ka square root to 1 hi hota hai, so not a change at all. Similarly, tan 60 degree, here the formula is the number of fingers below divided by the number of fingers above, but the square root on both of them. So if you take the number of fingers below 60 degree, it's 3. So this is root 3 and root 1 is 1 only. So this is subsequently equals to root 3 itself. मजेदार फॉर्मूला था ना, एक बार खुद से प्रैक्टिस करके देखो और भी अच्छा लगेगा. Then the last and the most important thing for level 1 preparation for all of you, that's called as heights and distances. तो heights and distances के क्वेश्चन को शुरू करने से पहले आपको उसका अप्रोच पता होना चाहिए. The approach for doing these kind of questions is knowing the major basic two angles. ठीक है, पहला एंगल है एंगल ऑफ डिप्रेशन, जो कि आप जब ऊपर से किसी चीज को देखते हो तो नीचे जाने वाली चीज एंगल ऑफ डिप्रेशन होती है. एंड व्हेन यू आर वाचिंग समथिंग लाइक द टॉप ऑफ अ बिल्डिंग, ओके, फ्रॉम द बॉटम, देन दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द एंगल ऑफ एलिवेशन, right here at the top. So this is angle of elevation, and suppose you are at the top and you are watching someone at the bottom, this is your angle of depression. Now one simple example I have taken. For example, you are given a question जिसमें आपको angle of elevation या depression निकालना है. इसका एक प्यारा सा अप्रोच है. पहले आप क्वेश्चन को ध्यान से सुनिए. एक टावर है, देयर इज वन टावर, ओके, जिसकी शैडो पड़ रही है. नाउ द मेजर प्लेस वेयर मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल गेट कंफ्यूज्ड इज कि चलो टावर का लेंथ तो हमने समझ लिया हाइट होगा, बट व्हाट विल बी स्पेसिफिकली द लेंथ ऑफ द शैडो? Should I make the base as the length of the shadow, or should I make the hypotenuse as the length of the shadow? To complete this thing, just understand that the shadow is never vertical, I mean made at an angle like this. So definitely for our question right here, we will be going in as the length of, or the height of the tower, like the height, and the length of the shadow as the base, right here in this question. And chalo कि आपको एक comparison दिया है that the length of the shadow is 1 by root 3 times the height of the building. So if the height of the building is taken as h, then the length of the shadow is 1 by root 3 times of h. Now if you are supposed to find out what is the angle of elevation of the sun, then understand the question that आपको लोग ये पूछ रहे हैं कि अगर आप यहाँ पर हो और आप यहाँ पर sun को देखना चाहते हो तो आप कितने डिग्री तक अपना सर ऊपर उठाओगे, and that degree is actually the question over here. Now comes the second and the most important and the last part of this video as well as this entire trick. Okay, आपको ये समझना है the next approach is that आप इसमें कौन से formula को use करोगे. Why have I only used tan theta and not used anything else? Well, the reason is the two sides given to you. Be very specific about the two sides given to you over here. जो भी आप comparison कर रहे हो वो आप actually opposite and adjacent side के बीच कर रहे हो. And there are only two trigonometric ratios which compare the opposite and the adjacent together. One is tan, whose formula is opposite by adjacent, and the other one is the cot, which is the reciprocal of it, adjacent by opposite. Okay, so in this case we will be taking tan theta. So अगर हम opposite by adjacent लेते हैं तो हमारा opposite end h है और adjacent end 1 by 3 root 3 h है. If I cancel h and transfer the root 3 to the numerator, I get the value of tan theta as root 3. And as per these formulas or this table, if you remember, root 3 comes in tan 60 degree. So therefore, the angle of elevation for this question becomes 60 degree. ये important नहीं था कि आपका value 60 degree आया कि नहीं. The most important part of this section of the video was that whether you understood the approach or not. कब tan theta use करना है, कब sin theta use करना है, this decision will only be taken by the given data. So if the given data suggests you two sides, okay, identify them, put it in the formula and see which formula works the fastest. Okay, and doing this definitely would help you to do the questions really fast in trigonometry. अगर मजा आया हो and fast and crisp लगा हो तो definitely like कर देना, and do share this video as well guys. And if you have not subscribed yet, then please do subscribe to the channel as well, and comment below and let me know about the video as well as the next video you want me to make on. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, study hard guys, and किसी को भी अगर fast लगा हो तो make sure you watch the video in a little slower pace, that is 0.75 or 0.5. Take care, thank you so much, see you in the next one.